Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to some Molson Canadian commercials, some of the most ridiculous and outlandish and just downright weird commercials on TV. And look, I've seen a few of these before, but I definitely haven't seen them all, and so I'm just ready for some more.
Hey, erinnerst du dich an den Typen von gestern, wie mit der Jacke auf...
Gib's zu, hatte seine Momente, ja, aber...
So, he says, let's just scale the wall. It's not that high. He was wicked, mate.
She sang badly, but everyone loved her. They couldn't stop cheering for her.
Moving on. The next thing I know, the children we back at the employee.
テーブルの上に乗ってね、なんか今まで見たことない、ここまで見たことない、すっごいなんかすっごい動きをするんだ。だってすっごい。
And the best part is,
She wasn't even from Dublin. Where was she from?
From Canada, chum.
he was Canadian.
Canada.
Canadian.
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 Best night of my life in Kotsaka.
Canadian?
Wow. Well, honestly, that wouldn't have been a small budget to be able to produce that entire thing and get all the different accents and cities and everyone involved. And of course, Australia just had to bring up the rear. Canada's twin brother just going, oh yeah, they were amazing. Just go on a walk. What do you mean just go on a walk? But no, that was fantastic. And it was like, unlike actually so many ads that you see, usually it's like straight to the point, direct advertising. But this wasn't actually anything like that. It was talking about Canada, or I guess the people of Canada, the Canadians, so to say. And then it just happened to have a beer in their hand. Nothing else was ever mentioned. But hey, like usual, you definitely do have to give credit where credit is due, from the writing and the directing of the entire storyboarding of the entire thing, just going, their dance moves and their moments, and even just down to the singing going, they were terrible. How were they so entertaining? And that's why they were Canadian, with powered by Molson Canadian. That is how they accomplished what they accomplished. And actually, just quickly scrolling through it again, I've just noticed that every single other country is in some kind of urban environment, between Tokyo being one of the most urban environments in the world, but then Dublin and everything like that. And then you just have somewhere in Australia, just randomly in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, that's probably, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but just somewhere in the middle of nowhere, these guys just found a Canadian. And really, it is going to be a bit of a rude shock for the Canadian, just going from what I can only imagine if they're going to be escaping the Canadian winter and coming to an Australian summer. Good bloody luck to you is all I can say.
When you think about Canadians, you might ask yourself, why are we the way we are? Well, the answer is laying right under our feet, literally. Fact is, it's this land that shapes us. There's a reason why we run off the dock instead of tippy-toe in. It's because that water is frozen 6 months a year. And that frozen water brought on a sport that we can call our own. This land is unlike any other. We have more square feet of awesomeness per person than any other nation on Earth. It's why we flock towards lakes, mountains, forests, rivers, and streams. We know we have the best backyard in the world, and we get out there every chance we get. Because it's not just the great outdoors we're chasing, it's freedom. And this place gives it to us at every turn. Here, we're free to chill out, free to unwind, and free to wind up. There's a beer that comes from the same land we let loose on, and it's brewed to be as clean, crisp, and fresh as the country it comes from. So here's to everything this land gives us. Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
Well, that was a very, very powerful ad, and he certainly did not hold back. My goodness, I mean, I don't know how factually correct some of the things that he was talking about, but saying, oh, well, we have more square feet per person than any other country, and I think you will be wrong there, sir. But to be fair, I guess everything else I'm just going to have to say is correct. I mean, I don't know why these people are wearing shoes into the water. That's a bit strange as well. Maybe they just don't like the slapping of water on their feet, but come on, that's all part of the process if you're going to be jumping off a rock like that. But no, once again, this would have been a very, very expensive ad to shoot, between all the locations and the different seasons and the helicopter shots, all the people. Man, it would have been drawn out of a very long time, but these guys certainly know how to just conjure a budget up and just go, you know what, we know what we have to produce here. We're not producing any B-grade thing, no, we're making a whole minute-long film. It's a heritage minute in the form of a beer ad. And to be honest, some of the locations and things that they shot, like all of this stuff is just incredible, and I guess, like they said, it is just their backyard, and it's not fair in that regard because they do have such a varied landscape and varied environment, but whew, man, it all does look cold in the grand scheme scheme of things, just, I mean, even these guys just skating across, you got to give it to them. That's some seriously fast skating that they were doing, or at least that's what the camera makes it look like. It's certainly faster than anything I've ever experienced. But there we go. That explains why it had such a big budget. And I did look in the last description, but there was nothing there. But look at that. To be aired on TV during Feb 12th Olympic opening ceremonies. Now, I don't know if that's the Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics, because it doesn't exactly say a year, but considering it's February, I can only imagine that would be the real Olympics, so to say, the Summer Olympics, that's the word. But in saying that, considering it was uploaded in 2010 and they did show an awful lot of ice skating, I mean, it makes sense because it's Canada, but does that mean it's for the 2010 Winter Olympics or from the 2008 Summer Olympics? That's what I'm now wondering. But hey, I will continue to say it until the cows come home. These guys truly do know how to make an ad, and honestly, this entire ad was about including all of Canada, and they showed all the rivers and the lakes and all the ice and the snow-capped mountains, and then as we can see here, they're also showing the prairies, the true source of the goodness that is, I can only imagine, Molson Canadian. That's what the prairies are good for, because otherwise, I haven't heard many good things. Hey. Oh no. Oh no, he's out.
When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down.
Oh no. Oh. 2,000 miles. This guy just trekked it, and it cost him however much it's going to be for an entire case, and he doesn't even get mad, nothing like that. He just does it because I guess, I mean, the fridges are going to restock itself, for goodness sake. The song certainly did catch me off guard though. I mean, obviously I read the title going 500 miles, but I didn't expect it to be 500 miles the song. It could have been many things. I mean, Canada certainly has many 500-mile increments. But really, once again, just the kind of helicopter shots and everything that are involved in these kind of ads, I honestly think that they could have just gone out there, shot a whole bundle of footage in maybe a day or two with the one helicopter, so just spend 50 grand on a helicopter and camera crew and everything like that, and then never touch it ever again, because they have so many of the same kind of shots from the same mountains to the same lakes, and that's all Canada is comprised of, is apparently just lakes, mountains, forests, and beer stores. Hang on a second, I did want to check it, and I was correct. They are a Scottish rock band and not a Canadian rock band. I mean, in my mind I was going, okay, if you're going to be in the ad, I expected you to be Canadian and that's how it would have worked, but then that's not what I thought it was. And so I guess for a beer ad, maybe they just went, you know who else we think would like beer? The Scots. And I mean, they're not wrong, as well as the Irish, but I do now wonder what made them choose that song, because even though it's very literal in its lyrics, I'm sure there are some other songs that were on the draft board. But actually, there was one other part that confused me, and I just wanted to double check. Yes, that is the flag of the USA, and so I guess maybe they're saying that he's moved to the USA, and so we can't get Molson Canadian anymore. That must be what it is talking about, because I was just going, if you were living in Canada, why is there going to be a flag like that in Canada? And if you were anywhere else, then it doesn't really make sense. It was not computing, but that then makes sense that he's living hopefully on the border and has to trek it back into the middle of Nowheresville, apparently according to the rest of the entire video, just to get his Molson Canadian, and then he drops it. Oh. And like I said, he's not even, I guess he's not mad, but he would definitely be disappointed dropping an entire thing like that. Look at the poor bugger. He carried it up and over and through and round, and I'm sure there's a couple that survived, but really, these Canadians really just have to maybe just put the ice skates on. He probably would have been better on his feet with ice skates on. I mean, I guess if nothing else, I should try and figure out, when did this come out? Okay, so this was uploaded in 2017, but looking at the ad, it's definitely older than that. So, how old do I think it is? I reckon it's got to be like 2004 or something like that. Just, I mean, the 4:3 ratio definitely helps give it the age of the entire thing, but I wonder if it was for any event again. Nah, it wouldn't have been. It just would have been them just throwing some cash at some proclaimers and everyone else, I guess. Hang on a second, I've just found a video that says Molson 500 miles 20 years later, and that was 1 year ago, and so I guess I actually wasn't too far off, being if it's 2002, I guess, 2002, so I was 2 years off. I'm going to take that as a win overall. So yeah, you can definitely just always tell with the kind of era of the entire thing, but to take the lyrics and adapt it just to fit Welcome to Canada and everything like that, once again, very clever people with very big budgets because they know how to make an ad. They have all the eyes of all of Canada, all probably 28 million people at the time or something like that, and just really just know how to keep people's attention. Beer does it differently, whether it's Australian, whether it's UK, or whether it's Canadian. They just something about it just always manages to stick with people. From the it's a big ad in Australia to these guys, I don't know, I guess it's not the greatest thing because then you're going to be advertising beer over someone's entire life and it sticks in their mind, but in terms of advertising, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Just, you hit the nail on the head, Canada, you hit the nail on the head.